Welcome back to the Sports Renegades, SportsTownChicago.com. And while we were going through that break, the Sacramento-Memphis game, my goodness. Right now, Sacramento's winning 35-11 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
That's, wow. Sacramento could be a team that
surprising this year.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the tough Western Conference. I mean, they could go 4th or 5th seed possibly. It'd be pretty exciting for Sacramento because that was a team that was trying. A lot of people wanted them out of Sacramento, and the fans sort of wanted them to stay. And
they're owned by multiple people now, aren't they? Because I think that sale didn't go through fully.
Is Shaq a part owner? I think Shaq might be a part owner. I know Chris Webber, I think, partly owns them.
Okay, because they're owned by like 8 or 10 different people. I'm pretty sure when they tried moving it, and then the guy just sold to a bunch of different shares.
And then another surprising team in the East. I think Milwaukee could have a pretty good season this year. I know it's only the first year with Jabari Parker, but I mean you have Larry Sanders, you have a couple other good people. So I think Milwaukee could be another surprise team too.
Plus, keep in mind, was it Jason Kidd's second year as a coach?
Yes, it's his second year as a coach.
He's in Milwaukee now.
Yeah,
which was a move that was pretty surprising. But you're going to see him grow as Jabari Parker grows into an NBA player.
Right.
So I think I agree with you there. And if they're able to add other pieces through the draft or free agency, that could be another teem. But
that was another team that a lot of people thought might leave town too,
right?
But they were able to stay. And
you ever been to a Bucks game?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the arena. It doesn't feel like an NBA arena. It feels like a college arena. Of course, Marquette plays there, so that's probably why. But it's just it doesn't feel like an NBA arena. Probably because it's only 2 levels. Every other NBA arena is pretty much 3 levels.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, the reason that it's not 3 levels is because they get so few fans at 2 levels that there's no reason to make it look emptier.
That's true, but if they were good, like back when they had
Ray Allen
and everything, I mean, they were selling out. It's just it's tough.
But they have that really, I mean, what is it, the 400 section?
Yeah, it's like 400 and 200.
I know they divide that second from the 300 into the 400.
Yeah.
But we sat up there, I went with a couple friends, and we sat up there for like $8. But just walking down, the stairs are so steep that you just feel like you're going to take one step and just fall.
Yeah.
Just immediately continue to roll down.
Yeah, like an old stadium.
It is.
Yeah, it's
a
pretty
old stadium. Food is awful. Just the generic hot dogs that seems like you take out of the microwave.
The food is bad there.
Continued NBA prices and whatnot. Anyways, going into the last segment, we'll talk a little. Any news on Derrick Rose? Is he playing?
Yeah, he hasn't. He's missed all 3 of his shots.
Okay, so
at least he's playing.
Right, that's a start. Heading into the next segment, we'll talk Bulls. We'll talk his stupid comments about his post career, and we'll talk a little Blackhawks. Heading into the last segment here on SportsTownChicago.com.
Final segment of the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. Ryan Risky.
Chris Hornig.
Ryan Stuprich.
All here with you to take you through this final segment. And we are not the last show on Sportstown Chicago. Well, actually, we are the last show, except we have the second to last time slot of the day here.
That is true.
And we were just kind of talking about the Bulls and Derrick Rose during the break, and talking about that just made me so much more angry with him than I was before.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just absurd.
And then, Chris, you want to read a little bit of that article by Boers?
Sure.
I mean, that's just outrageous, thinking that, like, I'm just thinking about my future.
Yeah, I mean, his comments are just
out
of the blue,
he's not
ridiculous.
Smart. He's not smart.
No, he can't be smart. He had somebody take the ACT for him. He's like a D-plus student.
Yeah, because he failed his ACT.
Right.
This is from CBS columnist and one member of the Boers and Bernstein show on 670 The Score, saying, well, to enlighten people first, and if they don't know the comments we're talking about, Derrick Rose said, I know a lot of people get mad when they see me sit out, but a lot of people don't understand that when I sit out, it's not because of this year. I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking about after I'm done with basketball, having graduations to go to, having meetings to go to. I don't want to be in meetings also or be at my son's graduation also, or just because of something I did in the past.
Those are his 2 highlights after his basketball career. His son's graduations and meetings.
And whatever meetings he has to sit in.
What kind of meeting would require his presence?
Or something where he'd, worry about being in pain for it.
Right, exactly. Anyways, Bernstein goes on to say, it sounds like he's trying to parrot the NFL players' trope about quality of life after football, not realizing that his sport carries none of the same risks to brain or body. His son is 2 years old, so he's concerned about the high school graduating class of 2030 or so. And it's anybody's guess on what meetings he would need his presence. But you can bet that Bulls Vice President John Paxson is thinking that the $95 million deal that accounts for nearly a third of his team's salary cap space buys the possibility that Rose might eventually have to seek out a particularly comfy boardroom chair. I mean, like, look at how many games Michael Jordan played over his career. You see him golfing. He's got to golf, 5 times a day?
Yeah.
Or 5 times a week, rather?
Yeah, he golfs a lot.
You know, and like this article alluded to, it's not like the NBA has the same, NBA players don't have to go through the same thing NFL players have to after a career.
Right.
After so many shots to the head and whatnot, you're taking none of that in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might take a hard shot here and there when
maybe
you're driving
like an
the
elbow
lane.
here or something, but it's not going to be vital
or
anything.
It's not like his major I understand the major leg surgeries and whatnot, but it's not like he had those done at 35 years old.
Right.
Those happened when he was 24 or 25 years old, when the body still can heal, 100%, back to 100%. There should be nothing he's worried about right now. If he was 35, and still playing in the NBA, and he said something like that, okay, I guess. I understand where you're coming from, and you're just coming off these surgeries, but you're 26 years old now. You have nothing to be worried about.
Derrick Rose would probably sit out a game because he was coughing. He had a cough. Or guys play through the flu. Luol Deng had a spinal tap and was almost died, and he wanted to play.
Yeah. I mean, it just sort of shows your character. I mean, Derrick Rose, his character isn't very high. He, it's almost like he doesn't necessarily care. I mean, obviously he cares, but he doesn't care about playing every game, where most NBA players, they want to play every game 48 minutes. But, obviously nobody really plays 48 minutes, but that should be his mentality, and he doesn't have that mentality.
I mean, it's just like with him. He's getting paid to do a job, and he just sits out because he feels like it. Like, wouldn't your parents just love to take a whole week or two off of work just because they could and still get paid for it?
Right. It's just, oh, man. It's crazy.
I mean, I don't know who he thinks he is. Like, I mean, we point out he's not smart. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, is he sore all the time?
And
that's the thing. Part of the thing of being an athlete that you sign up for is it's going to be a long season, except then you get a long off season too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the thing too. Is you've played 10 games in 2 years? Is that what it was?
Something like that. It's like 15 or so.
Or you could go up to. He's only played 50 in 3 years.
Oh
right.
My God.
I mean, that's that's barely half of us. That's barely half of one NBA season. It's crazy.
And like you're saying, he's not his own decision maker. There's someone behind the curtains calling every decision for him, right. And that's how it was a couple of years. Well, last year even, when or was it 2 years ago when his brother came out and said that why should Derrick come back when this team doesn't have the
I think
pieces.
That was the first injury.
Right.
That was the first. That was in March, like right after
March
Derrick,
2013, when he was when there was speculation he might come back.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
that's right. Because last year they just went ahead and announced right away, immediately, that he was done.
Which I'm glad they did that. It didn't leave people waiting.
Right.
Well, the only reason they did that was because it happened during the season, where the year before they had to find a way to sell tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good point, too, Risky.
But, like I said, there's someone, everyone always knows Reggie's there calling everything for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Which it makes me wonder how smart Reggie is.
Well, he's probably not smart either. I don't think any of these guys are smart. I'm not sure if the whole Rose family is very bright.
I mean,
his mom seems smart.
I mean, you'd like to think Derrick was probably the only one who went to college, because
yeah, he probably was.
Coming out of, I believe he's from Inglewood. He went to Simeon.
Yeah.
You always know that part of that area is always riddled with gang violence and whatnot. So, the success rate, that's why they want Derrick to get out of that place.
Yeah, I mean, he's a success story for coming out of that and being a professional NBA player. The issue is
that's not going to happen with everyone.
He's not being a professional NBA player right now. He's being, he's sort of being like a coward almost.
Mm-hmm. He's got his money. I think that, sometimes you got to wonder about pro athletes too, is if they have their money, what else are they worried about?
I mean, he makes almost $50 million a year from his contract with the Bulls and Adidas.
Yeah, and then all the sponsors he has and everything. It's a bad situation, and I feel like he doesn't want it as much as Joakim Noah does. He doesn't want it as much as Jimmy Butler does.
Right. And you see those guys, and when you were talking about injuries, with Luol Deng and then Joakim Noah.
Now Jimmy Butler has that thumb sprain that he was playing through, too.
He was supposed to be out 2 to 4 weeks, and he was back by the third game.
Right.
And it was said before the season that Noah's going to battle with the knee pain?
Yeah, he's got the knee thing. He's still got that thing with his foot. I forget the exact term for it.
The plantar
fasciitis.
That's what it is.
Derrick Rose would miss the entire season if that was him.
He'd never play. Because Joakim Noah's had that ever since his first or second year in the league.
Anyways, going away from Derrick Rose as much as we could talk about him, what have you guys taken away from the bowl season early on?
Pau Gasol was a very good signing, obviously.
Yes.
He gives them a big inside
he looks fresh.
game, and he looks sort of, I feel like a change of scenery was a good thing for him, going from the bad Lakers, now he's with the Bulls.
Kobe's Lakers, too, especially.
Kobe's Lakers, yeah. So, I think that was the big signing. Mirotic, we'll have to see what he turns out to be. He's playing all right.
It's very limited number. It's very limited minutes to base something off of.
Aaron Brooks is the new Nate Robinson, DJ Augustine, C.J. Watson guy.
Right.
And he's been playing well, too.
He's been playing better than all three of those guys, too.
And you've seen bright spots out of McDermott. But I completely agree on the Gasol signing. It was almost that him signing with the Bulls kind of rejuvenated his career because he looks a lot younger. I mean, what is he, 34?
Yeah, he's been in the league since 2002. I mean, he's, him and Mark Gasol came in around the same time, I think.
Right.
Also keep in mind he's playing with a legit center now that isn't being like a crybaby.
Best
making
defensive
headlines.
center in the game, right?
Where Dwight Howard he was making headlines for bad reasons, like crying all the time.
Right, and then even when Howard wasn't with the Lakers, I mean, he wasn't playing with really anybody.
Oh, and also remember, his first time he was playing with a legit center, and also when Howard was playing, remember Pau Gasol was coming off of the bench.
That's right, he was coming off of the bench. I forget, who do they have that was starting over? Earl Clark, yeah.
And Andrew Bynum. Bynum they traded.
Yeah, they traded Bynum. He's nowhere to be found now.
Now they got the booze, baby.
Now they got the booze cruise.
I still
Which
hear
might not be a bad signing because Julius Randle's out for the season.
I know. I feel so bad for Julius Randle. I loved him. He's a really good player, but it really sucks. He got hurt the first game of the season.
Right.
And he's out for the season.
Yeah.
And
the Dolphins had the lead 3-0, by the way.
Okay.
Got our money on Miami. Were they? They're probably only favored by 3 too.
I'm sure Miami was only favored by 3.
3 or 4.
Did we all take Miami?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Switching gears here I wanted to get a little Blackhawks in. I know I wasn't here last week, and I wanted to talk a little Blackhawks.
Yep.
It looks like the offense is finally coming around a bit, but in the meantime,
the 9-6-1 record is so un-Blackhawk like.
It is, and I think that's because of the offense. And you've seen the offense struggle at times, but one of the main takeaways is that the defense and goaltending as of late has been really, really good.
Crawford's playing his way into the Vezina talk.
And you've seen, even Rundblad, who I was, kind of questioning as to why he stayed on the main roster, but even as he's played more games.
They stupidly traded a second-round pick for
him. And I saw a stat about Corey Crawford. I mean, he plays so much better in the third than he does in the first and second. Like, it's ridiculous. He has it's almost a 98% save rate in the third period.
Well, yeah, the goal he gave up against Lightning, wasn't it it's only the third he allowed all
something
season
like
in the
that.
third
and it was
period
off of a missed call or something too. It was like there was a missed call by the official, so it shouldn't have even counted.
Right.
But anyways, like I said, the offense is starting to come around, and this team has too much offensive depth to not be able to score at times.
Yeah.
And I think
they got shut out in 2 straight home games, 1-0.
Right. Well, wasn't one of them in Toronto?
No.
Were they shut out against the Maple Leafs?
They were shut out against Anaheim and Winnipeg in consecutive games.
They were shut out against Winnipeg. I remember seeing that game.
And Anaheim. Both games were 1-0. I believe the Anaheim game was the one that Seabrook...
No, I'm pretty sure the Maple Leafs game was in between that. Because I think they played the Maple Leafs on Saturday.
I don't remember it. I mean, it's such a long season.
I know in 2 straight home games they were shut out 1-0.